I mean, I'm a little surprised. I mean, again, they hung around long enough. I thought Duke had a chance to throw the knockout blow several times, and they didn't do it. And then obviously, Kaman Maluak, he was cramping up, so he was in and out of the game, not himself. Andrew Carr, man, wow, did he make some plays down the stretch? The ex-Demon Deacon.
Yeah, don't rub it in. We saw that already.
2-and-1s, great pass.
He was great.
I mean, he made – but like Kerr said, the beauty of this team is power in numbers.
Yes.
Right? And they wore Duke down. Duke was down to like 5 dudes at the end of the game, right? I mean, Zion James was hurt.
That's another thing I think that worries me about Duke is just the pattern of last year, right? This is a team I thought without question was 10 deep. And Isaiah Evans and Darren Harris,
they didn't get
off the bench today.
No.
And
they go 8. They go 8,
but I think this is the time in games like this and this early in the year, I think you need to try to give those guys minutes. Because
but what if they didn't earn it in practice? What if there's a clear difference?
That's exactly what it is.
Right.
But I think you judging it from last year's team. I mean, I've seen Coach Shire say it before. If you don't show it to him, he's not going to play you, which is the way it should be.
Yeah.
But they're talented freshmen. I think you got to – we know the talent is there.
Yeah.
There needs to be – and then you got to try to figure out a way to get those guys and going because I think you're going to need them in February and March.
Yeah, you said earlier that there's one thing that you're really concerned about with this Duke team. What is it?
Point guard play.
Still,
and I say that
they
because
don't have a point guard. They don't really have one, right?
Well, I'll say this. People get technical with point guard or not. Having a guard that you feel comfortable putting the ball in his hand to go make a play for you at the end of a game is the only thing that I see that this team lacks right now. And again,
that's Cooper Flagg.
It's not Cooper Flagg.
It is Cooper Flagg. They're going to put the ball in his hands. They're going to. I don't care who your point guard is. The ball is going to be in Cooper Flagg's hands at the end of the game.
It went in his hands tonight.
And
but it's also when you do it and how you do it. Giving it to him at the top of the key and making him drive through the teeth of the defense.
I hear you.
Because he's a guy that turns his back. He spins. He uses his length. So if you're going to run him in a post in a secondary part of the defense and then throw it to him in the mid post and move, that's different. Yeah. But I'm saying you need to have a guard that you can say, hey, just go in the paint. And Proctor, I thought, has been much better than he's been in a long time. I'm really impressed with what Proctor's done. I still think between him and Foster, one of those guys have got to be able to fit. And I think it's Foster. I think Foster is the guy that's shown he can consistently get to the paint when he wants to. I think he settled some tonight. Tonight wasn't his best game, but I've seen him do that. But he has to take a bigger step.
He also the perimeter defense for Kentucky. Like when I love Kerr. When Kerr was on Caleb Foster, they went to him. Like the one thing that I was really impressed with John with his game plan was that he identified the mismatches that he knew he could take advantage of. And as soon as he got one of those mismatches, they went to that guy, they put him in the ball screen, they tried to get him isolated against him. And it happened a bunch with Kirk Creason. I say all that to say this. There were a lot of times where you got Lamont Butler or Ortega Oweh on Caleb Foster and Tyrese Proctor. I'm ready. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, look, you know what? You got one of the best defensive guards in the country on you who happens to be a 23-year-old fifth-year senior that hit a game-winning shot in the Final Four. Yeah, you know what? Sometimes you run into that.
Again, I'm not saying it's I'm not sour on Duke at all.
I agree with
I just think they
need
a guy, and I think it's Foster. Foster is the guy. Proctor did a better job because last year we were talking about he wouldn't even get in the paint.
I'm not sure Foster's the guy that you're talking about. Like again, can he make people better?
He can get in the paint is all I'm saying.
Sure.
So him getting into the paint creates issues. It's drawing fouls, doing everything else. He has the ability to get. He did that as a freshman a year ago. He was the best of those three guards of getting to the rim. He can do that. I'm not saying he was better than to McCain or anybody. I'm saying he's the best guard, but he's better at getting to the rim.
Can I tell you what my biggest concern is with this Duke team? Is so much of what they do is reliant on Con Knipple and Cooper Flagg to beat a guy, get to those little 8-foot turnarounds, and make those shots. I think what we saw tonight, Kentucky hit threes and free throws, and Duke lived and died with a bunch of mid-range jumpers. right? And honestly, they died with a bunch of like wide open threes.
What number
down.
game is this?
I don't know.
What number game
early.
is
It's
this?
early.
But
They
three.
can adapt.
Yes.
That's
We're
the only
9
thing.
days in.
They're not this
you
poor
wanna
of a
learn from
three-point
this.
shooting team.
No,
either.
dude, the 17-year-old out there, he's a finished product. He's never going to get any
No,
better.
what I'm saying is they can change. Obviously,
Yeah.
they ran a lot for Con tonight.
Yes.
A lot.
They did. He was
Now
struggling.
maybe they changed. Maybe that was just something. Again,
All those
this
are
early
makeable
on,
shots. All those.
He's been dominant
Mhm.
in practice leading up to it, and in the early games, he's been very good. Well, maybe now that gives John Shire something of, hey, Proctor, because Tyrese was really good early,
Proctor was solid. I
and
thought he
then
was
I
solid.
felt like he kind of disappeared in the middle of the game for the most part, and they went away from him.
Jeff,
They're good. They're going to be really
They're
good.
good. They can win a
They're good.
national. No doubt about it. They can win a national title.
absolutely.